It's the Marty Show.
Hello and welcome to the Marty Show. Today we're going to have a look at an old Marvel series from the late 70s based on the toy line of the same name, the Shogun Warriors. More specifically, we're going to have a look at issue 10. But first and foremost, what the heck are the Shogun Warriors? Back in the 70s, when bell-bottoms and disco ruled the world, the Shogun Warriors were the coolest thing since sliced sushi. These giant robots towered over all the other toys in the sandbox with names like Mazinga, Grandizer, Gaiking, Raideen, and Dangard Ace, to name a few. That sounded like something you'd order at a Japanese restaurant. In fact, they were indeed Japanese. They were a series of imported Japanese toys based on several anime and tokusatsu shows featuring giant robots, and for some reason Godzilla and Rodan were also part of the line. It's a bit like adding mustard to your chocolate milk, but why not? They were originally manufactured in 3 sizes. Most people remember the huge 24-inch plastic versions, but there were also 3.5-inch and 5-inch die-cast versions. Several vehicles were also offered, as well as a set that could be put together to form the super robot Combatra. The toys themselves were like nothing else on the market at the time. Think huge plastic things with spring-loaded fists that could knock over anything in their path, and some of them even had rockets out of they could shoot rockets out of their arms, to the great dismay of some parents, because these things could hurt an eye or two and were a cause of serious choking hazard concerns. The comic book series was just as epic, with stories that spanned the galaxy and pitted the Shogun Warriors against all manner of intergalactic threats. There were epic battles, daring rescues, and plenty of silly high-tech gadgets that would make even James Bond jealous. It was all more than a bit cheesy and hastily put together, but that's what makes its charm. Without further ado, let's look at issue 10. So, the Shogun Warriors comic book series ran from February 1979 to September 1980. It consists of 20 issues that came out monthly. Doug Mensch wrote the comic's main story, and meanwhile Herb Trimpe and Dan Green worked on the art for the series. Anyhow, here it is, issue 10. 12 pesos of greatness. 12 pence. Color is spelled with a U, so this is from Harry Potter land. Nice. Anyway, 5 heads of doom. Could have also been called 5 fingers of doom, since Combatra here has to fight off a giant monster hand. The story is a whole bunch of nonsense, but if we roll with it, it has to do with Combatra, which becomes disassembled as it takes on the 5 heads of doom. Of course, we are at the Japanese embassy. These things tend to happen there, or near Tokyo Tower, or at the base of Mount Fuji. I kind of like this drawing here. Here's the little quiz we did the other day. That was fun. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't watched it, it's called the NBC Saturday Morning Peacock Club Quiz. It's on my channel, so feel free to watch it if ever you want to test your knowledge of Saturday morning cartoons from the late 70s, early 80s. So here, a bunch of scientists observe the situation from the Shogun Sanctuary while one of our heroes, Agent Genji Odashu, kind of a faux Japanese name, runs away from the giant hand. Unfortunately, she hides behind Combatra, and our friendly giant robot gets a big old whack on the schnoz and falls down like a chump. And then the hand smashes him into parts, and the parts fly off. The hand flies off too. The fingers burst free and go after the centrons, that is, the robot parts. And that's pretty much the whole plot for this issue. Nothing much else happens, at least for the main plot. There's a bunch of side stories that probably connect to other plot lines in other issues. Oh, by the way, here we have a nice illustrated ad for the Shogun Warriors. It's pretty cool. You can see some of the toys here, or at least it gives you an idea of what they looked like. Yeah, here you can see the hands flying off. And then we go to a scientific lab. There's another bunch of scientists, and they are being blamed for leaking the coronavirus. I mean, a giant monster called the Star Child. And then we move back to Odashu in the last panel. And here we have a fun-looking splash page. Pretty cool-looking battle. I like it. It's just going like everywhere in all directions. That's fun. And more of the battle follows on the next page, as you can see here. Somehow Odashu had the time to put on her uniform. And then we end up in Los Angeles, where a rich dude known as Richard Carson, one of our main characters and the pilot of Rydeen, is watching TV with his Tinder date, Dina. And then we have Howard the Duck and Dracula, some of my favorite comics ever. And then a man in black shows up, steals some crap, and jumps out the window, smashing through it for good measure. Here you go, rich man. And more fun battle stuff follows. Lots of zats and chooms. And then lastly, on the last page, the fingers get back to the monstrous hand. Odashu also manages to put back the sentrons together to form Combatra. And we're back to where we started. Yay! The battle will continue in the next issue. Headed for doom. As for us, we're not headed for doom, but we are done for now. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.
Thanks for watching the Marty Show.